What's good, everybody? Coach Justin here, Empower Inc. Coaching. If you struggle with consistently staying on good nutrition, this one's for you. So the first thing is to stop calling it a diet. It's crazy that we live in this culture that you're the weird one and you're going on a diet when you're trying to eat more healthy foods. The reason that I personally have a problem with this is because when you're saying I'm going on a diet, that instantly insinuates that this is a temporary thing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you're probably trying to get results that last a lifetime. You're not just trying to slim up for your cruise. You probably want to feel better, look better, move better forever. And so we need to be adopting that mindset from the get-go that, yes, while I'm going to have bumps in the road, I'm going to trip and fall on my face sometimes, I'm going to make mistakes, I'm going to make changes, but I'm going to be doing this for the rest of my life. It's the whole infinite versus finite game. Look up Simon Sinek. He has a great TED Talk about that. But it's not about this end result. It's about the doing. It's about, I'm not trying to win at my fitness. I'm trying to be fit for the rest of my life. I'm not trying to complete this diet. I'm trying to eat better for the rest of my life. So the first thing that has to happen is this paradigm shift. You are doing this forever, not for a 21-day crash. The second thing is to give into your cravings. I can remember one time back when I was coaching in gyms physically, I was sitting down to eat my lunch, and I was going to eat barbecue crockpot chicken, bell peppers, and jasmine rice for what felt like the 37,000th time. And for weeks leading up to this, because I ate that meal a lot, and at first I really liked it, but I ate it so much that I got to the point where this day that I'm talking about, I was getting physically ill. Like I was feeling sick to my stomach and like choking it down because I had no other choice. I had a second half of the day to coach. I had more sessions. I needed energy. And so I choked it down. But that day I was finally like, okay, I cannot do this forever, right? I can't maintain this. And so I started to think, what if I paid more attention to my cravings that I have all the time and that I had a lot back then because I was so restricted on the way I was eating, and just found healthier ways to make them. And the first thing that came to mind is kind of weird because I don't know that I've had it since, and it wasn't like a regular staple in my diet. Shepherd's pie came to my mind, and if you're familiar with the regular recipe of shepherd's pie, it's not very good for you. So what I did, and I recommend you do when you're looking up healthier ways to make things, is I did shepherd's pie paleo recipe. Not because I 100% ascribe to the paleo diet, but in my experience, one thing I've learned and benefited from doing that is when you put paleo in as a keyword, it helps ensure that the recipes you're looking at are going to be naturally sourced whole food ingredients. So paleo in the recipe bar. And anyway, that night I cooked the paleo shepherd's pie. It was made with sweet potatoes and like a lean ground beef and stuff. And it was amazing, first of all, for being such a simple recipe. And it completely satisfied that craving. And that is when a light bulb went off for me. And all of a sudden, instead of choking down shit that I thought I had to eat to be healthy, I started thinking, what else do I crave all the time that I just completely stuff down, that I could start to pay more attention to and find healthier versions? And that's actually how I found my other one that I suggest to everybody, which is a smoothie bowl. If you like ice cream, you like frozen yogurt, first of all, don't get me wrong. I allow myself to have Ben & Jerry's and frozen yogurt fairly regularly. But I wanted to get away from having it all the time. But I still wanted to satisfy that craving. And so I made a smoothie bowl, which was just frozen 3-berry blend from Costco. So it's just the 3 berries, frozen fruit, vanilla protein powder, milk. And then I put just enough milk in there to keep it that frozen yogurt consistency, dump that in a bowl. And then on top, I either put more fresh fruit or a protein cereal, something like that. And then I drizzle melted peanut butter on top. It is so good. I've never gotten sick of it. And while I still allow myself to have frozen yogurt, while I still crave it sometimes, my cravings for frozen yogurt almost completely disappeared when I started having that. And I'm not sitting here fooling myself like I'm eating this smoothie bowl and like, yeah, just like frozen yogurt. It's not. It's different. But it satisfies the craving at a fraction of the calories. So if you find that you are not sticking to these diets, it's not the diet that's the problem. It might be that you're not paying attention to your cravings. Or maybe prior to hearing this video, you didn't even think that was a thing. You thought you had to stuff your cravings down. But the problem with that is they will come back up. So give into your cravings, find healthier ways to make things. And then number 3 is make it fit your life. When I first started eating healthier, I was eating like 6 to 8 small meals a day. And it worked because I went from eating like bullshit and microwave burritos from the gas station and Slurpees and candy to eating healthy. And anytime you make a change like that, no matter how you're eating, like how many times you're eating, you're going to get results from that. And it worked for me for a while. But it got to the point where it wasn't really aligning with my schedule, because even back then I was a personal trainer, and so I would have these back-to-back sessions and I couldn't sit down and eat chicken and sweet potatoes between sessions. And so I would find myself skipping meals a lot of the time, and then that would result in low energy and result in binging at night, and it just caused a lot of problems. And then once I started, because actually, let me back up. The reason why I was eating 6 to 7 small meals a day is because I was told that's how you have to eat if you want to be healthy. UPS truck. And what I found in my research is that's not true. What science has proven for decades, which, by the way, what science has proven is the only thing I'm interested in. Bro science and opinion, I have no place for, because it's just opinion. What science has proven is, in terms of your body composition, your muscle mass and your fat mass, it's your protein and your calories that need to stay in check. That's it. Okay? How often you eat, it really does not matter. It needs to fit your lifestyle and your preferences. So your lifestyle, kind of like I was saying, if you have a job where you don't really have the opportunity to sit down a lot, maybe you're in the medical field, maybe you have a lot of customer-facing meetings, like me, you can't be scarfing down a bunch of, big salad while you're trying to have a meeting, right? And so for you, what you may need to experiment with is having fewer meals, but bigger meals. That's what I like to do. Because then you're not eating as often, but you're still getting your calories and your protein in, okay? That you're gonna have to play with this a little bit. Everyone's a little different, but again, all that matters is your protein and your calories. I like to eat big meals, and so that's to the preferences part. I prefer to eat big meals, and I don't like to have to pack a bunch of food when I'm out and about. And so I'll have a big breakfast, I'll have a big lunch, and I'll have a big dinner, and that's it. Sometimes a snack if I'm hungry. My wife, on the other hand, gets full really easily. So she could probably never be that kind of person that eats a few big meals, because it just doesn't fit her preferences. So for her, she has some more smaller snacks throughout the day. You got to find what works for you. But again, the frequency does not matter as long as your protein and calories are in check. And then finally, this is kind of more of a bonus tip, is you need to find a way to put treats in their proper place in your life. So what do I mean by treats? I think you probably already know, but first of all, I don't like the term cheat meals. I know it's a really popular term. The Rock uses it. Good for him. This is my opinion, but just think about it. When else in life is cheating a good thing? Cheating on tests, cheating on your spouse. There's never a time where cheating is good, and yet we're supposed to feel good about having a cheat meal. And yeah, it's just a word, but I believe words are powerful. They carry a lot of power. And when we're using words that have the opposite connotation than what we mean, they can inadvertently take us down some bad paths. That's why a lot of people, they'll cheat on Friday night and then say, fuck it, the rest of the weekend, and binge all weekend and start again on Monday, and then wonder why they're not getting results. It's not just because of the binging, it's because of the mindset that they have going into that Friday night cheat meal. I cheated, so I suck. And I failed my plan, so screw it, I'm just going to start again on Monday, because that's what people do. #motivation Monday, right? So what you need to do is, first of all, this is what I recommend, is instead of saying cheats, call them treats. You're treating yourself, because treating yourself is anything but a bad thing. That's a good thing. Treat yourself, right? And for me, even just that paradigm shift, that helped a ton for me. I stopped feeling so guilty about having some pizza, having some ice cream, and just, it is. Also, you have to remind yourself that your health and fitness is not won or lost on one meal, right? But by doing things consistently over time. And so if you can agree on that, then we also have to agree that if you have some ice cream on a Friday night or some pizza or both, you may wake up a little bloated. You may wake up a few pounds heavier from water weight, but you did not gain body fat. You didn't lose any fitness. Just get back on track for breakfast, right? But back to the point, you need to find a way to put treats in their proper place for you. And this is different for everyone. Like if you can go a couple weeks without some treats and you're enjoying that, and then just every once in a while you allow yourself to have something like that, do it. But if you find that you are consistently binging on the weekends, that you're thinking about treats all the time, you might want to find a way to have it more frequently, okay? Because I can tell you from experience, white knuckling it is not the way to go. When I was new into my health and fitness journey, I would go a solid 2 to 3 months without any pizza and frozen yogurt because those were always my weaknesses. And then, we'd be at the in-laws for football on a Sunday, and they'd pop in a Papa Murphy's pizza, and I would, be white knuckling, like, I'm not going to have any. And then next thing you know, I'd black out and the whole pizza would be gone. And then I'd feel terrible about myself. I'd go do some cardio to burn it off and then start again on Monday. Rinse and repeat for way too long. I'm telling you right now, if that's you, you need to get off that train. It's not sustainable. And so for me, I reminded myself that health and fitness is not won or lost off one meal, but by the consistent, repeated actions that we take. And I just found a way to have it more often. That's why I like to recommend logging food for a while. Not so you can be obsessive, but so you can really see like, wow, I can have ice cream as often as I want to, as long as I hit my protein and my calories, you're still going to get results. Ice cream is not a fattening food any more than salad is not a slimming food, because if that were true, let's all go have salads and we'll have six-packs afterwards. That's not true. We know that, right? And so find what that looks like for you, for your treats. And sometimes you're going to dial it up a little bit. Maybe you got to cruise to Cabo here in a couple months and you want to lean out a little more. So you're going to have less treats. Great. But then other than that, you have it once a week, a few times a week, every day, it's all possible. The last thing I'll say with this, especially for those that don't want to track or just don't track your calories, because that does take the guesswork out, but I get it. Some people don't want to do that. Then here's even a simpler formula for you, and this will be the last part of the video. Let's use sushi, for example. Sushi, in terms of the macronutrients, and this is a conversation for another video, but macronutrients is just your protein, your carbs, and your fats, okay? It's what all food and drink are made up of in varying amounts. Sushi is primarily made up of carbs and fats. And yes, there are some protein, but they're usually pretty high in fat and low in protein and high in carbs. And so if you know that ahead of time, you're going to go out to sushi tonight, then consider dialing back your carbs and your fats for the meals leading up to it. That doesn't mean have no fats and carbs. That doesn't mean eat nothing necessarily, right? You still want to make sure your protein is up, but just maybe try to be a little more mindful of your carb and your fat intake leading up to that meal, so it just balances out. That's a really simple but very effective method. So I hope this helps, guys. I only have 2 asks in you watching these videos and me doing them. Number 1 is that you implement these things. Knowledge is powerful. Knowledge can change lives, but it only changes through action. You need to actually implement these things. So if there was even one nugget that you took away from this, my encouragement to you is to implement it immediately. And then my only ask in you watching these videos is if it did help you, and only if it helped you, share it. That's the only way this channel grows. My mission is to use my knowledge, my expertise, and this growing community of Empower Inc. coaching to build better humans through health and fitness. And the only way that this grows is by you guys sharing it. I can talk about how awesome I am all day, but that's always going to come off with some bias, So if this helped you at all, and only if it helped you, then I would encourage you to share it. Share it with your friends and family and someone that you think it might help, and we'll see you for the next one.